This is Dr. Rajul Dutt. Today I'll deal with the topic marketing information and research. Marketing, as we all know, is pervasive. It interacts with the external environment, which is ever changing, dynamic, and turbulent. Ever changing is it keeps on changing because the the environment changes very fast. It includes maybe the competitors, the macro environmental factors, the target markets, etc. Turbulent because of the increased what we call it as competition in the marketing area. The overall objective of marketing information system is to provide inputs of target markets, marketing channels, competitors, public, and other forces for creating, changing, and improving the marketing decisions. So if you see what is the basic job of a say marketing manager, therefore, or for that matter, any manager is to take decisions. And to take decisions, one has to have the various inputs on the basis of which the decisions are to be made. And because, as I've discussed just now, that the external environment is so dynamic, the competition part is is ever changing, that it becomes very, very difficult for any marketing manager, therefore, to take appropriate decisions. So if I go through the definition as given by the Kotler, it is marketing information system as a system that consists of involved maybe the employees of the organization or the customers, equipment and procedures together sort, analyze, evaluate, and distribute needed, timely, and accurate information. Now, this is very important part of the definition is where it is needed, timely, and accurate. The information which the marketing manager intends to secure from the system, from the overall environment, should be, it is timely. Timely in the sense if the information is becomes obsolete, or if it comes late, it would be difficult for any marketing manager to take the appropriate decision at the given moment of time. Accurate information, now information should be more accurate to the marketing decision makers. And who is the decision maker here is for the marketing, it is the marketing manager who takes the decisions. Now his decisions are very important for the functioning of the or for the growth of the organization, because here the marketing manager is supposed to take the decisions from the information given, and the information from where the information is coming again, that is dynamic in nature. We have discussed this as in marketing environment, that the marketing, whether it is a micro environment or the macro environment, it keeps on changing, and therefore the marketing manager's job is to take appropriate decisions as per the situations he faces. So important part of this is marketing information system is to provide the information. Now, to provide information is through internal record system, marketing intelligence system, followed by marketing research system, analysis of information. Now, this is very important because on one side, if we see to the left-hand side block of this marketing information system, it consists of marketing management decisions. Now, these decisions, when I've discussed, the marketing manager has to take. So these decisions are related to product. Now the product, when we talk about product, it is the size, shape, type of the product, the development of the product, the branding, so and packaging, so and so forth, appropriate price of the product, as to what should be the price of the product to be sold into the market, because one has to look out whether the product is of monopoly in nature or in other aspects, places of distribution system, as to what should be the channel to reach to the consumers. That involves the retailers, the wholesalers, the agents and all, so that there is a movement of the product from the place of manufacture to the place of consumption, that is the consumer promotion aspects, which is as to how to make the product aware to the people, to to train them, to explain about the uh, aspects of the various aspects of the products, and therefore the promotional aspects we have discussed in the earlier lecture in the promotion mix. That is where I discussed about the marketing mix, that the promotion involves advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, publicity, and direct marketing. Packaging, of course, plays a silent salesman, as we call it, and all the information. This packaging, again, it solves many purposes, and it is very important fifth P uh, uh, of the decision making process and physical evidence. Physical evidence process, and one important is people here. Now people again can research to the all the maybe the customers to whom uh, the product has to be sold. So these are the various areas where the marketing manager has to take a decision, and these decisions are based on the information he seeks from the external environment, from the internal environment, putting together. And when we talk about marketing environment, the marketing environment includes the competitors, the distribution channels, that is the channel members, retailers, wholesalers, and agents. Macro environment, yeah, the economic, the technical aspects, socio-cultural aspects, so on and so forth, and the target markets to whom the product is being focused for whom the product is being made. So these all are interacting, and for these it requires marketing an information system, what we call it, as it is pertaining to marketing area, and therefore it is being called as the marketing information system. Going through it, it's for us, it is again very important us to understand as to what is this. However, the marketing research merely deals with the discovery of the capacity of the market to absorb a particular product. So there is a difference between when we talk about the marketing research and the market research. Market research again is a part of marketing research, and it is only related with the absorption of the particular product, as to absorption in terms of the sales, or how much the product could be sold into the market. So, to understand, before I go it for the marketing information or marketing research, let us study the again as to what this marketing information consists of. Now, the marketing information has the first step is the internal record systems. Now, the internal record systems includes the orders, the sales, the prices to be associated with the product, the inventory levels, the payment receivables, payment payables, etc., and so on. So this is what the internal records have. This leads to the marketing intelligence systems. The marketing intelligence system is related to the everyday information about changes, development, in marketing environment. I said marketing environment again is very dynamic, whether it is micro or whether it is macro environment, they are subject to the changes, and it is very important that these changes or the changes which ought to take place should come to the marketing manager very timely and accurately, so that appropriate decisions may be taken. This leads to the marketing research system, the research design, the collection of the data, its analysis of the data, reporting of the data, and findings relevant to the specific situation. So, whenever we go for a research, it is for a specific reason, for a specific problem, and the research should be pertaining to the specific research problem, which needs to be taken care of in terms of the decisions based on the analysis and the findings. And this report the analysis of the information, that is the coordinated collection of data systems, tools, techniques, with supporting software and the hardware, etc. So on these basis, on the basis of these, the if we analyze this, if we work on this, this will provide the information which is again vis-a-vis to the management decisions on various aspects. If I say various P's, that is product, price, place, promotion, packaging, process, physical evidence, and people. And this again, this information system is based largely on the when we study the competitors, the network, the distribution channels, the macro environment, the target markets to whom the product is intended to be sold, or to where to look out for the customers, appropriate customers for my product, or the product for the organizations. Now, this leads to the basic aspect, that is the objectives of marketing research. So, before I go to the definition as to what the marketing research definition suggests, let's see as to why this marketing research is necessary. So, the marketing research is usually conducted to achieve the following main objectives: to know the demographics and the psychographics of the customers. Demographic is the people of the particular area, or maybe of the nation, or maybe of a particular place. We want to look out for as to what is the demography in terms of the, maybe on the basis of gender, it is male and female, whether it is in based of the whether the young people, the uh, adult people, and the old people, whatever it is. And psychographics is their lifestyles, their thinking patterns, their perception, their attitude towards the product. So these are again very important to study, so as to visualize and to analyze as to how to look out for to make a strategy. Uh, in another objective of marketing research is to find out the impact of the promotional efforts. All the promotional efforts, therefore, is directed upon, if I say let's talk about on the basis of the income of the people. So the again, the whole total society has to be divided into, say for example, the higher class, the middle class, and the lower class. And on the basis of to which segment we intend to cater, the promotional activities should be directed uh, on those aspects. Again, the another objective is to know the customer response to the new product, because for the new product it becomes very evident for any organization to know about the customer response, because now the product has been launched, it is being given to the consumers. So the if the earlier response, for example, if we say when we have not manufactured the product, when we say we identify the needs and the wants of the people, and then those needs and wants are converted into product. From this area, this is the visualization of the organization, maybe the marketing manager. But the new product is when it is being launched, whether the people they accept it or not, or whether there are any shortcomings, so that the product can be improved upon, looking on to the responses of the customers. The forecast, to forecast sales. So again, marketing research is to focus as to how much the sales will take place for the particular product. So unless and until we ascertain, the marketing manager ascertain as to what would be the sales percentage, and what would be the sales uh, in terms of profits, so it helps us to estimate about the probable sales to be made, and to anticipate the competitive moods. This is very important as to what is the competitive nature in the market, because any market in today's dynamic world, in today's world, it is very difficult to have no competition. So therefore, to look upon regularly as to what the competitors are doing. We cannot depend upon as to what our strategy is. Now, strategy, when we talk about strategy, is a game plan. And when we talk about a game plan, that means that there is or are competitors in a given set of environment. So it is very important for us to estimate or to study the competitive aspects in the market. The, the definition of marketing research is the marketing research as a function which links the consumer, the customer, and public to marketer through information. Information used to identify and define marketing opportunities and problems, generate, refine, and evaluate marketing actions, monitor marketing performance, and improve understanding of marketing as a process. Now, this definition has been given by American Marketing Association, which suggests the marketing research as a function which links the consumers and customers. So, in certain cases, we know as the person who consumes the product becomes the consumer, and the person who buys the product is the customer, and these two be one. In certain cases, examples have been dealt earlier also. And public is the people who are may not be the customer, may not be the consumer for the public for a particular product, and therefore this is by and large the public also is there to a marketer through information. The marketer is therefore to make the decisions, marketing decisions, or the decisions related to the marketing area through information, and this information is used to identify and define marketing opportunities and problems. Now, when we talk about environment, so there are various opportunities which and problems. If there are problems, that they need to be rectified, eradicated, and if the opportunities is again the problems can be converted into opportunities. It depends on the marketing manager as to how to view, as to how to visualize the given set of environmental factors and to generate, refine, and evaluate marketing actions. So these marketing actions is related to the marketing planning, monitor marketing performance as to what is being established, the standards, and whether the organization or whether the marketing department is working as per the uh, set performances rules and for rules or the marketing objectives, and improve understanding of marketing as a process. So marketing is a process, and we have discussed this in when we discussed about the introduction of marketing. So why it is being called as a process, because it is an ongoing activity, and because of the changing in marketing environment. So if I summarize now marketing research before I further go to the details of the marketing research, it is to the knowledge about the nature and the composition of the customers. The nature is the types of people, and the composition is as to how much. For example, if I take one aspect, that is gender, so the combination would be as to how many females and how many males are there. And if my product is, say for example, a shaving cream for men, so therefore the composition would be as to what is how much is the male. For example, there are 60% of male and 40% females, so therefore the total market for my product would be 60%, and look out for as to how many the users in the particular given set. So this is just an example that has to understand the composition of customers. Now, developing marketing mix. So according to the study of the, when we study about the nature and composition of the customers, we develop a marketing mix. Marketing mix involves four major P's, what popularly known as four P's. That is product, price, place, and distribution. Promotion, sorry, and the anticipate competition, which leads to the marketing strategy. Now, what is marketing strategy? Marketing strategy is again a game plan set for the for to achieve the intended results. Marketing research is the intelligence service of business enterprise. What does it relate? It relates that when we talk about research and information and research, so it is the intelligence part is that we get the information from the outside world and from the internal world, internal to the organization. What are the various aspects related to, or the various problems in within the organization, and the outside, which we call it as the micro and the macro environmental factors, those. So we get the information, we try to get the information through the research process, so that it helps us to take the decision as, or the marketing manager, it gets the help to the marketing manager to take appropriate decisions at appropriate time. It means careful and objective study of product design. So this marketing information and research, or the marketing research, it is related to the careful and objective study. Objective study is a meaningful study, that is, the objective or the problem is clear to the investigator. Here the investigator could be the marketing manager, or he can hire the specialized people to for the research purpose, for the product design, as to what should be the features or the size and structure of the product. The markets are related to the segment of the consumers, as to which segment the product is to be catered to. And transfer activities is related to the physical distribution, warehousing. And now when we talk about physical distribution of the product, there are two aspects related to it. One is that from the point of manufacture to the displacement of the product, or the movement of the product from the point of manufacture to the point of consumption, that is from manufacturer to wholesaler to retailer, and finally reaches to the consumer. Another aspect of the physical distribution is the logistics aspects, that is how the product will be transported from the point of manufacture to the point of consumption, that is destination of the for the product, for distribution. And warehousing, advertising, and sales management, that is the promotional aspects related to it. So marketing research covers all these aspects, and the marketing manager tries to gain as much information related to these aspects. So this leads to understand as to what is the scope of marketing research. So in this, the first is product research. It is associated with the conversion of customer needs into tangible product offer. Now, this includes the maybe testing of the new products, the existing products. We want to test the new product. We developed a new product and we test the new product by launching into the market. That is what we call it a test marketing, to get the information or to get the feedback from the customers about the new product, or maybe improving the existing products if there are certain things, if there are certain deficiencies in the existing product. So we gather the information and then try to improve upon those aspects. Maybe the changing customer preferences and habits. Now this again is very important, because the customer taste and preferences, they ought to change quite often, and therefore and accordingly we have to make the changes. As a marketing manager has to make the changes in the products as to what the customer demands. So the second is the customer research. This research includes investigation into the customer or consumer buying behavior, or even a buyer behavior, that is social, cultural, personal, and psychological influences. Now, when this is what we meant by the buyer's characteristics. It is very important for any marketing manager to investigate about the characteristics of the buyer, and the main aspects and these characteristics are the social, cultural. So when we talk about social, it is related to the reference groups, the family, the roles and status of the consumer. The cultural, of course, includes the culture, the subculture, and the social class. The social class is related to whether it is a middle level, or the lower level, or the higher level in terms of the income. And the personal characteristics of the consumer, that by and large takes into consideration, like the age and the life cycle stage, the occupation, the economic and this lifestyle, personality, self concept, all these factors, and again the psychological factors related to motivation, perception, learning, beliefs, and attitude. So this is again a part of the consumer buying behavior, or customer buying behavior, or buying behavior. We'll study in the forthcoming videos. So all these will be dealt in detail there. Then again, another research is related to the sales. the sales research. It involves decisions concerning selection of the store location, channel, that is channel members, the wholesalers and the retailers, territories, as to which territory to cater. For example, territories may be in terms of the north, south, east, west, central, and other on within the north, whether it is be, for example, Uttar Pradesh or Haryana, or for example, Punjab, etc. Salesforce motivation and compensation. Salesforce motivation is because the Salesforce, they play a very important role, and to there are various aspects. One is related to compensation, is the salary aspect, and the other motivational factors is their promotions, their recognition being given by the organization. So all those these decisions comes under the sales research. And fourth is the promotion research. It includes all efforts by marketers to communicate the company's offer. Now, company's offer is related to the as to what the product has to offer in terms of the product benefits, in terms of its price, in terms of its availability, and how to reach to the maximum number of people. So it includes how can we reach to the people by and large, to educate them, to inform them about the organization, about the products and its benefits, so on and so forth. So the various tools we have in promotion is advertising, sales promotion, personal selling, publicity, and direct marketing. So these are the areas where research need to be done as far as marketing is concerned. So next comes the significance of marketing research. Now, when we talk about the significance of the marketing research, it is important to as to why it has become over a period of time. The organizations, they have felt that it is very important to learn about the marketing, its environment, about the customers, so that the strategy can be made, can be developed according to the requirement. So when we talk about marketing concept again is the concept that it is customer oriented concept. That is when the organizations think, when the marketing manager think that the organization, the very purpose of any business organization should be the customers. So the customers are at the very first and at the very last stage of the whole marketing process. So this is what it is meant by the marketing concept. So it can claim the customer oriented without the performance of the marketing research function. Second is to synchronize the production and consumption. It is where the marketing plays an important role, so that there is generally a time lag between the production and the consumption due to large scale production. The greater the time lag, the greater is the need for marketing research. The taste and behavior of the customers, they changes very fast. So it becomes always necessary to have the information in time and to implement the information in time. Implementation again here is to convert the the problems of the people into tangible products for the consumers. The third is to reduce the uncertainty by providing information that facilitates decision making. So, the main part of marketing research is to provide the necessary information to the marketing researcher, or to the, for here in case, the marketing manager, so that he can take a wise decision into the prevailing circumstances or the prevailing environment he is operating in. And this is the marketing research. It gives, and all the businesses, we know that all the businesses, they operate into uncertainty. And when we talk about uncertainty, it is closely related with the high risk involved in any business organization. And therefore it gives it becomes very evident, it becomes very important to have the information, or to get the information to facilitate in the decision making. It is only then the decision making becomes much more appropriate if the information is provided, as I earlier said, in time to the decision maker. Now, the fourth is intuitive research versus research-oriented approach. Now, research-oriented approach is what the facts and figures being available or gathered or analyzed, and the report has been made. This is one aspect. Another aspect is related to the intuitive research. Intuitive research is the intuitions the of the researcher. Uh, Maybe, for example, there can be biasness. So maybe the research, the facts and figures, uh, they they give a certain, explanation about a particular problem about, or the result, they give result about a particular problem. But intuitive is whether it is right or wrong, whether to take a decision or not. So these two aspects on the as far as the researcher is concerned, one, and the decision maker. Here, the decision maker in a business organization is the marketing manager. So his both these aspects, they are very important in decision making. Now, having said and having discussed this, let's see about as to what are the various advantages of marketing research. To summarize it is forecasting, marketing research. It helps in forecasting. Forecasting is related to the as to in terms of the sales volume, in terms of the profits to be gathered. So one aspect of marketing research is as to how much the company will be able to sell, or what is the volume of the market segment or the consumer segment. Rightful promotion is uh, to develop a marketing mix, sorry, promotional mix, not marketing mix. It is a promotional mix. Promotional mix includes advertising, sales promotion, personal selling. Now, for example, if the product is of, say, some engineering aspect is related to it, or mechanical aspects related with the product, so therefore there the personal selling plays an important role, because there are certain aspects which the customer wants to know as to how to operate the particular product. So there we require maybe the technical personal selling, and those are the various aspects. And advertising is in for general, when you through advertising you reaches to the uh, lakhs and lakhs of the consumer at one time. So these are the various aspects as to how to make a promotion. Now, this is again dependent upon the what is the say the budget allocated for this. So it helps in allocating the budget also for the promotional aspects. Now, third is the understanding of new markets. So, when we uh, go to the market, or when we want to get the pulse of the market, it becomes very evident to go out and to search for a new market, or to understand the new market. And the new market means that when you are coming out with altogether a new product, when you're launching the product into for the first time into the market, so therefore one has to understand as to how to develop a new set of customers, or as to how to cater to the requirements. And when we talk about catering the requirements of the customers, it is understanding them in terms of their buyer behavior, or in terms of their influences on particular customers. This again, an assessment of middlemen. Assessment of the middlemen is related to as to how many retailers are required, and how many wholesalers for that matter are required. This assessment is again to take a stock of, for example, in a particular place maybe the customers are less, so therefore you require less retail outlets, or less number of the salespeople to reach to the consumers and to cater to the requirement. And if there is, for example, in a particular area the number of customers are more, so therefore you require more of the retailers and more of the salesmen to cater to the requirement. And the suitability of the channels. The suitability of the channel is as to, again, it is related to the number and the types of the channel members, and looking into looking into the product aspects into it. If the product is technical, you may have a direct channel. If the product is non-technical, maybe for example shopping goods type, so the you can have a long channel, and therefore it helps, the research helps in to understand to as to what would be the best way to reach to the people in the low cost aspects also. So all these aspects are also related with the investments to be made. Now, the last part of the last part of this video is the limitation of marketing research. Now, when there are the advantages, though, there ought to be certain limitations in research, and that when marketing research, one is huge expenditure. Now, this huge expenditure is related to, so you, because you require so much, maybe in terms of money, maybe in terms of time. A lot of time is spent on research, a lot of money is being flushed out by the organizations. One may get the results, one may not get the results, and therefore uh, all the organizations cannot even afford the research, the money spent on the research aspects. Bias in collecting data. This is one of the important aspect in collecting the data. The researchers, they sometimes tends to, not deliberately, but it is a human weakness that the researcher becomes biased in collecting the data. Unpredictable human behavior. This is again in terms of the person to whom the researcher is heading to, is asking for the behavior of the human behavior for a hair, for consumer behavior. It is very unpredictable. People, they may commit something, they may tell you something which may or may not be right. So it depends again on the intelligence of the researcher to understand as to how much is the right kind of answer the person is giving. Now, that leads to it requires competent researcher. Competent researchers is again the person who is able to understand the various research processes, tools, and techniques to solve, and one is to understand as to what the other people or the is saying. No time gap allowed between research and its implementation. This is one of the most limited, because the all the researches, they are subject to certain problem which is prevailing. So as and when, there should not be any gap between the research and its implementation. If the implementation is takes a longer time, so the research or the findings of the research may not be appropriate, because as I've discussed earlier also, the outer environment changes very fast. So maybe the how no matter how much good the findings are, no much how much hard work has gone into, but if it is not implemented in time, the desired results will not be obtained. And it is the all the research, they are just supplementary and not the substitute to the problem. So this helps. A supplementary here means the research all just helps us in taking the decisions, and decisions are based on the certain facts, and also on the base of the intuitive aspects of the researcher. The process of marketing research. With the constant change being the norm in marketing and business, one thing remains the same, is the need for marketing research. Marketing research, therefore, is helpful tool for organizations to better identify marketing strategies and evaluate business decisions using data. Marketing research, thus, the process is the backbone of informed business and marketing decisions. But ironically, the various studies suggest that most of the business organizations, they cut marketing research from their marketing budget because of high time consumed and it's expensive and other related reasons. This I have discussed in my last video, that These it's time taken in the research is more, the investment is more, and therefore most of the companies, most of the business organizations, they do not consider marketing research to be an important aspect. Nonetheless, let's review the various steps involved in the marketing research. Now, if I go through it before I start with the research process, the basic fundamental where as to how do I have given the process of marketing research with the examples and hypothetical example I have taken as to how does this research goes down, how do we come to the various aspects related with the each step. So therefore the funneling process, for example, we know that the broad areas in a business organizations consist of four major departments, four major components, that is the marketing, finance, HR, and production. Now we focus into marketing because it is marketing research. The research is pertaining to the marketing area, and therefore, when we talk about marketing, there are four P's. With the help of these four P's, we design a strategy. We make a strategy by making a combination of these four P's. So this broadly we call it in marketing terms as the marketing mix. So the first is product, price, place, and promotion. Now, this is the how to identify and formulate one of the problem. I mean, if it is a problem and we can also mention about an opportunity, both the things they are lying in the environment, in the external environment, as to what are the problems related maybe to the internal to the organizations. Opportunity lays outside the organization. Let us take it for example in two areas. So one is, for example, the identification is as to defining as to how do we define the objective. Now, objective is, for example, in the four P's, I've taken price. Now, how should we price a new product? Now, this is a problem with us. And this problem is again among the four P's, the price becomes the problem, and the organization or the researcher intends to find out as to what should be the price, how should we price the new product, for example, the company is launching. So for this, this is how we come, to define objective of any research. The objective for any research, therefore, should be very clear, and here the objective is pertaining to the marketing area, and therefore we hypothetically have selected that, say for example, as to what should now price again plays a very very important role, and therefore I have taken this price again. Now, how do we price a new model? First we have to understand as to what is a pricing model. So pricing model comprises as to what does it means to us in marketing area. Pricing model is a microeconomic pricing model, is a model, for example, of the way the prices are set within a market for a given product. The pricing model is based around producing a quantity of goods at which the total revenue minus the total cost is at its greatest. So this is how we work upon. Now, in these I'll take care in the when we discuss the pricing aspects to it. This is just an hypothetically to understand as to how do we define the objective and how do we work upon that objective. So for this, for example, we all know, and again, for a brief, I'll take it as to what are the various pricing strategies. So the pricing model basically is based upon as to the pricing strategies we have, and if simply put it in words is we have got five major pricing policies, that those are cost plus pricing, that is simply adding cost and make a profit portion. Next is competitive pricing, setting price based on the competition in the market. Third is value-based pricing, setting the price based on how much the customer believes you are selling worth. That means the worth of the product is being decided by the, or the price is decided by the customers. This is, we call it as a value-based pricing. Price skimming is when we set a high price to enter into the market, maybe in a monopoly market, and penetration pricing is setting low price to enter into the competitive world. So these are the various pricing strategies we have. And second aspect is pricing point, that price decided after research. So the objective is as to how do we come to, how do we arrive to a certain price which the customer which is uh, able to pay or will pay for my products. So pricing again plays a very important role in how to fix up an appropriate price or a reasonable price for a particular product is of major concern for any marketing manager. So this is the pricing point will come out at the end of the video as to how does we arrive to point out or to select as to what should be the appropriate price for my product. So this, after defining the objective, it is the third step is determine the research design. So for this is to as to how do I go about with my research. For this, you will have say the primary data, the secondary data. So I have put it into simplest form, that is first it is exploratory research to determine what competitors are doing. So this is in a sense it is a secondary data which is there. You are studying as to what the other competitors of my product, the product I want to launch or I'm going to launch. So my concern is as to how what price should I fix up for my product. So again, this is a secondary data because you collect the data as to what the competitors are selling the same or the similar products in the market. And second is the descriptive research, sorry, the survey to measure the customer's attitude, expectations towards the product. So this is area of the research is to find out as to what is the customer attitude, which will help in setting up the prices for attitude towards the product of my organization or your organization, and the attitude of the people or the customers toward the competitors. So both are taken into account. So this is how we move upon when we determine as to research design as to how should we go about it. Fourth step is in this is design and prepare survey. So this is a questionnaire designed for conjoint analysis and test survey. So for to collect the data, we ought to, when we go to the people for to collect the primary data. So one of the most popular way of collecting the data pertaining to the problem, and the problem there is price. So the questionnaire is framed taking the price factor majorly to collect the data in relation with the price of the commodity or the product we intend to. So questionnaire designed for conjoint. Now, what is conjoint analysis? It is very important to understand here as to what is conjoint analysis. Now, conjoint analysis is a survey-based statistical technique used in market research that helps determine how people value different attributes like features, functions, and benefits of the products or of the product that make up a single product, or for the product we are going to launch it. So this is the questionnaire is designed in a fashion so that to determine as to what are the various features, the function, and the benefits. Now these are what we call it in management terms as the attributes related with the product. Now, after designing the questionnaire, the test survey here is when we make up a questionnaire, we go for a pilot survey. Pilot surveys, we test is whether the questionnaire is able to gather the intended data from the people or from the respondents, and therefore if the pilot survey gives us the result, if the pilot survey is successful, then we go for the mass or the intended sample we want to cater, we want to the sample we decide upon. The fifth step comes into the process is the sampling and data collection. That is, for example, I take it now with the help of the technology and all, we launched a survey maybe online and get as much or the intended information or the data from the people to whom we intend to sell the products, and that is again a part of say, data collection. After collecting the data, the next step is analyze the data. Now, to analyze the data, we have to understand as to what is the structured data and the regression analysis. So, I have taken the regression analysis, and first we have to understand as to what is the structured data, the data which has come up to us, and how do we use it then. So the structured data is highly organized and easily understood by machine language, means those working with relational databases can input, search, and manipulate structured data relatively quickly. So this is as to how do we put up the data so that as and when it is required, we should be able to refer to it. Regression analysis is a statistical method that allows to examine the relationship between two or more uh, variables of interest, or the variables we intend to measure the relationship between. So, and again, we can have various relationships made so that we analyze it and come to a certain point of the conclusion. After analyzing the data, that is, we prepare the report and presentation. Here I have given, for example, the answer the original business problem. For example, it is recommended that pricing be one time an appropriate price point based on the research is, for example, rupees 20.55 that per piece. So this is the researcher comes with the after analysis, analyzing the data, comes up with the solution of the, because for any research process, the ultimate why it is being carried out, so that we should be able to get a solution to the problem. And the problem here is to coming back a little, the problem here is as to what should be the price for my new product. So this is all. On one side, it is the process of marketing research, and on the other side, I have given and hypothetically so that we can understand as to how do we come up, how do we arrive to an objective, how do we fix up an objective, because unless and until the objective is clear, the whole process of research process will go haywire. You will not be able to, one will not be able to come up to the right or the correct or an appropriate answer. So defining the objective or the clear, the objective should be very clear in the mind of the researcher. Thank you so much.